Let's talk about the last one. Yeah, the heavyweight fight between Augusto Sakai and Alistair Overeem. I thought that Alistair shows what a crafty veteran does in a fight. He didn't go out there to win the first round. You know, I think, you know, they were saying that they thought he lost the second. I'm not too sure that he lost the second. I'd like to look at the scorecards that when they're available to see the way the judges looked at it. But he just consistently started breaking Sakai down. And then you look at the finish, and even before in the round, as the round was ending, before in the third round, man, he was landing some big shots. You cannot allow Alistair Overeem to be in the top position and expect to do well. He lands heavy shots. The elbows that he was landing in that fourth round, my God, they were big. They were huge, man. They were, and I've said it too many times, and I tell fighters all the time, hey, you want to make a referee nervous. You want to make him think about stopping the fights. Don't continue to punch. Start elbowing your opponent, and quickly you'll see that referees start to go, fight back, move, get out, all this stuff, because they know that, there can only be so many. And, that fourth round, near the end of the round, he started landing them. Then in the fifth round, as soon as he did the same takedown that DC doesn't like, that worked very well for him twice to get Sakai to the ground, man, he was lighting him up with those elbows. I thought it was a really smart performance. I know, there was times when you saw, Sakai opening up and you saw Overeem using a shield defense, but he wasn't getting hit with big shots for the most part. He had he got the hematoma on the side right by his ear. I still didn't see if that was a head or an elbow that caused that, but that was, absolutely it was damage and stuff, but it was the number of fights that Alistair Overeem has had over his career. You're looking at a guy with over 60 fights against a guy, coming into his 17th professional fight. Big difference in ring knowledge, big difference in just the way to go about fighting a 5-round fight, since Alistair's had a ton of those. It was experience. Experience won Alistair that fight. He broke Sakai down, and he fought a beautiful fight.
People say that about, oh, he's too strict, he's this, that, and the other. And I'm like, hello? I'm a referee. I'm an official there to do a job. And like I said before, it's just crazy. Like, what do people want? If I go in there to referee a fight and nothing happens, you ain't going to hear nothing from me. But if something goes in there and something happens, then, I've got to do my job. It's just, you could go crazy with it, with this game. You cannot please everybody, and you shouldn't die trying either.
Jon Jones at heavyweight, what a great career move. I mean, in all truth, there has been more headlines and more discussion on Jon Jones, who hasn't done anything in a period of time, since he's moved up to heavyweight. I mean, right? That's what everybody's talking about, and everybody's fantasizing and make-believing and what's going to be next. Look, it's almost difficult to imagine that Jon Jones isn't going to waltz up to heavyweight and move right through it without a scratch on him. I mean, it is almost difficult to. You've got OSP coming out, and OSP saying, yeah, he's going to be able to pick those guys apart. You have Daniel Cormier, who has done both weight classes and been in there with Jon Jones, who says, yeah, he's going to go out there and do great. DC did not go as far as to say he's not going to have a scratch on him, he's going to move right through it, but DC did go as far to only make one comparison to Jon, which is Stipe. And this is not a foregone conclusion, and we're all just anointing Jon. Because while you might be complimentary of Jon, you're accidentally insulting Ngannou and Blades and Lewis and the rest of the boys. So that's not what I'm attempting to say here, but there is a little bit of a backstory that I don't have the answer for, but you could at least speculate and do an informative guess, let me give an example. When John was at Jackson Wink, many times, many days for what would accumulate to many hours, he sparred with Travis Brown. Travis Brown was as far as ranked number 4 in the world at heavyweight, is why I bring his name up. John sparred many times, which accumulated to many hours with Alistair Overeem. I've never heard Brown or Reem come out. Now, they're respectful guys. They were teammates. There would be a reason they did it, but I've never heard them come out and say, yeah, I handled John. I was just too big for him. Or, you know what? John came out and handled me. He was just too quick for me. I've never heard how those workouts went. But there is reports that he did just fine with the big boys. There was also be a speculation at best, but we'll go ahead and speculate, that John might have felt something different. And even if he was touching them more than they were touching him, there would be a reasonable belief that he felt something different. And felt, as well as that might have gone, or whatever my constraints may have been, I'm a 205 pounder. And 205 has always been a varied feature weight class. You can tie that back to Frank Shamrock, who passed the torch on to Tito, who passed the torch to Chuck, who passed it to Randy Couture. 205 has always been very featured, but none of us make believe that heavyweight is the special.